Now we will see the nature of magnetic field around a current carrying straight conductor. If a current carrying straight wire is passed through a cardboard having iron fillings spread over, then the iron fillings arrange themselves in concentric circles around the wire. If a magnetic compass needle is allowed to trace its path around the conductor, once again it is tend to be circular. That means the magnetic field around a current carrying straight conductor consists of concentric circles of magnetic field lines lying in a plane which is at right angles to the current carrying conductor. In figure, you can see the plane of the cardboard is perpendicular to the conductor. Now, observe the direction of the compass needle when the current is reversed. The deflection of the needle is reversed in this case. This shows that the direction of the magnetic field around the conductor depends on the direction of the current flowing through it. Here, the conductor acts as the center of the magnetic field lines. These lines are crowded near the conductor and they are separated when the distance from the conductor increases. This indicates that magnetic field near the current carrying conductor is stronger and becomes weaker as the distance from the conductor increases. Instead of using a compass needle every time, we can determine the direction of magnetic field by using right hand thumb rule. Imagine the conductor to be held in your right hand with the fingers curled around it. If the thumb points in the direction of the current, then the curled fingers shows the direction of the magnetic field. If the current in the conductor flows in the upward direction, then the magnetic field around the conductor is in anti-clockwise direction. And if current in the conductor flows in the downward direction, then the magnetic field around the conductor is in clockwise direction. It is not compulsory that always thumb should point in the upward direction. In this figure, you can see thumb is in the horizontal direction and the direction of fingers gives the direction of magnetic field. Magnetic field, dot and cross notation. We visualize the nature of magnetic field around a current carrying conductor with the help of right hand thumb rule. Magnetic field is three-dimensional in nature. To represent this in two dimension, dot and cross notation is used. If the field is inwards, that means the field lines are directed into the page, we can use cross, means inward direction. And if the field is outward, that means the field lines are coming out of the page, we can use dot, means outward direction. You can remember like this, cross means inward direction and dot means outward direction. Here the topic is magnetic force on a moving charge. We have seen the introduction of magnetic field. Magnetic field is property of the space where a charge which is under motion experiences a force. Now we are going to derive an expression for that force. That is, we are deriving an expression for magnetic force on a moving charge. Because in physics everything is measured. The measurement is the essence of physics. So for measuring the magnetic force on a moving charge, we need an expression for force. So as the first step, we should know on what all factors the force depends. For that, we will discuss some examples. As the first case, consider a charge Q in room 1. And in room 1, there is no magnetic field. And now we move the charge, it goes straight with a velocity v. Now I take the charge to room 2 and move it again with the same velocity, then we can see it bends like this. Again I am taking the charge to room 3. Now if I gave the same velocity, then it moves like this. So why the path of the charge is changing? From the knowledge of mechanics we can say that there is a force acting on this charge, and because of this force the charge bent like this. Now what is the difference in room 1, 2 and 3? The magnetic fields are different, and in room 1 we can say the force is 0 because there is no change in the path of the particle. And in room 2 force is F2, and in room 3 it is F3. And it is very clear from the picture that F3 is the largest. That is F3 greater than F2 greater than F1. So this gives me the indication that larger is the force, larger will be the bending from its path. So the curvature goes on increasing with increase in force. Here we are using the same charge in all the 3 rooms, same velocity in all the 3 rooms. Then what has changed? In all the 3 rooms we have different magnetic fields. So here we can say the force depends on magnetic field. Now we will take another example. There is a magnetic field B in a room. Here I send a charge Q1 with a velocity V. It goes like this. Then I send a charge Q2 with the same velocity and it goes like this. Then again I send Q3 with the same velocity and it is going like this. Which is experiencing more force? Q3 is experiencing more force. Here velocity is same, room is same. What does it means? This means force is proportional to the charge. Here Q3 is larger than Q2 and it is larger than Q1. More is the charge, more is the force. So we can say force depends on the magnitude of charge. Now the third factor is with velocity. Here I am considering a charge Q in a room with magnetic field B. That is, Q is same and B is same. Now I am sending the charge with different velocity. With velocity V1, the path will be like this. Now the charge is moving with velocity V2, and here it is moving with velocity V3. And from the path it is clear that a force is acting on the charge in all the 3 cases. And V3 is larger than V2 and is larger than V1. So curvature is more in case of V3. Here Q is same in all the 3 cases, and they are in the same room, so magnetic field is same. So it is clear that when I increase velocity, force is increasing, or force depends on the magnitude of velocity. From the previous explanations, we can say the value of force depends on the magnetic field B, the magnitude of charge Q, and the velocity V. Now, based on this knowledge, we are going to derive an expression for magnetic force on a moving charge. In figure, you can see the x, y and z axis. Consider a uniform magnetic field in the y direction. In this magnetic field, a positive charge Q is moving with a velocity v. Here, theta is the angle between velocity and magnetic field. Here, we can resolve the velocity vector into 2 components. In that, v cos theta is in the y direction, that is, it is in the direction of magnetic field, and v sin theta is along the x direction, that is, it is in a direction perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. And here we can say the direction of force will be in the z direction. The direction of force we are getting from Fleming's left hand rule that we will discuss later. Here, due to the interaction between the magnetic field produced due to the moving charge and magnetic field applied, the charge Q experiences a force, and the magnitude of this force is directly proportional to the magnitude of charge. That is, F is proportional to Q. Again, the force is directly proportional to the component of velocity acting perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field. That is, F is proportional to V sin theta. And again, this force is directly proportional to the magnitude of magnetic field applied. That is, F is proportional to B. Combining all these factors, we can write F is proportional to QVB sin theta. With the help of proportionality constant K, we can write this equation as F is equal to K into QVB sin theta. If the proportionality constant K is equal to 1, then the equation becomes F is equal to QVB sin theta. Or in vector form, we can write this equation as F is equal to Q into V cross B. Here, the direction of force is the direction of cross product of velocity and magnetic field, which is perpendicular to the plane containing V and B. We can see the special cases. Case 1. If the charged particle is moving parallel to the direction of magnetic field, that is theta is equal to 0 degree, then sin theta is equal to 0 and force is equal to 0. Case 2. If the charged particle is moving anti-parallel to the direction of magnetic field, that is theta is equal to 180 degree, then also sin theta is equal to 0 and force is equal to 0. That is, a charged particle moving along or opposite to the direction of magnetic field does not experience any force. Now, case 3. If the charged particle is moving perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, that is, theta is equal to 90 degree, then sin theta is equal to 1 and F is equal to QVB, and it is the maximum value of force. So we can say if a charged particle is moving along a line perpendicular to the direction of magnetic field, then it experiences maximum force. We derive the equation for force, that is F is equal to QVB sin theta. Now force is a vector quantity, so we should specify the direction also. Here, the direction of force can be determined by Fleming's left hand rule. If we stretch the first finger, the central finger and the thumb of left hand mutually perpendicular to each other, such that the first finger points to the direction of magnetic field, the central finger points to the direction of motion of the charge, then thumb represents the direction of force experienced by the charged particle. In figure, you can see the thumb, first finger and central finger are mutually perpendicular to each other. Here, the first finger points to the direction of magnetic field and the central finger points to the direction of motion of the charge. And if we want to know the direction of force, then we should check the thumb direction. You can practice the Fleming's left hand rule like this. Write B on your first finger, V on your second finger and F on your thumb. And hold the three fingers in mutually perpendicular direction. We can apply this on any practical situation. If we know the direction of magnetic field and current, Then hold the first finger and second finger accordingly. Then for the direction of force, we can check the direction of thumb. In figure you can see the bar magnets and the magnetic field lines. The first finger is in the direction of magnetic field. You can also see a current carrying conductor, and the central finger points in the direction of current. And if we want to know the direction of force, we can check the thumb direction.